Well, let's go ahead and start it. Welcome to the Media Communications BS Hour. We're coming to you live and direct from Full Sail Campus, actually right in the middle of Building 2, Room 202R, which is so famous we get students that drive all the way across the country just to be here. That's what a party we've got going on here. And not only that, speaking of parties, our general crowd of faculty members that we usually have here with us are scattered around the globe as well. We've got people checking in with us live and direct from just about every continent, if you count different buildings on this same piece of property continents. I think that's the only way that would work. But while we're getting started, let's do the truncated version of the introductions, and I will first throw it over to Pete Episcopo. Pete, how's it going?
It is going phenomenal today. It's very chilly, though, and
Yeah.
I'm coming to you from the sprawling mecca of Melbourne, Florida today, just getting some things done here, and it's a bit chilly. So I just want to say a nice little chilly hello, and you can feel those holidays come, and it's so exciting. And I'm going to throw it over, I guess, to Lisa. Lisa, are you there?
Hey, I'm here, and I am coming to you on location from my couch, which is across town in Orlando. And it's a glorious day out. I don't think it's chilly at all. Beautiful, and I've got the windows all open. So welcome, everyone, to another week.
And that would take us over to Kathy, if you're able to say hi, Kathy.
Hi, Kathy. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, it's great to be here, and I am on location from Building 3 at Full Sail University, where we are having some really exciting and fun Lynda.com type parties.
Very exciting. So we're in Building 2, Building 3. We're on a couch in downtown Orlando, and Pete's all the way over in Australia. That is astounding, Pete. Have you seen any kangaroos today?
Oh, good eye, mate. I did actually last weekend at the Brevard Zoo, but that's another story for another time.
Fair enough. We'll wait for then. Well, that was our introductions, and that's usually when we launch off into media in the news, which is exactly what we're doing. And we're going to start with some pretty somber news, but luckily it has a silver lining. In fact, with a storm this size, the silver lining must be pretty huge, because this storm, and I apologize to the typhoon lovers out there if I missay the name, but Typhoon Haiyan absolutely pummeled the Philippines last week. Pummeled. 10 million people were affected. 500,000 are displaced and looking for a place to call a home right now. The death toll isn't set, and I don't like to say those numbers anyway until people know for sure, but it's climbing, and it's very concerning. And in the midst of all that, we have this new age of media coming to the rescue in some ways, and it's pretty exciting to see how that's happening. Some of the images coming out of the area are really telling. They let you know what kind of problems these people are up against and the kind of help that they need. As a little aside, I was listening about a day after the storm hit and reading articles about it, and many of them said aid workers are gearing up to hit the affected areas and help. And I couldn't understand why in the world they would be doing that the day after it hit. You see where it's going. You know the devastation that's coming. You should be in the air while it's happening, so you land moments after it's safe to do so. And I'm sure there's organizations that do, but it made me think that I would really like to have Janelle work with the Red Cross and have some project management that was a little more effective to make sure that the aid was getting there almost immediately. But that's a side note. Here's the good news, the giant silver lining I was talking about. Social media has really come to the rescue in a couple of very important ways. Excuse me. One of them is that maps are being generated using social media. People are laying out exactly what the problems are, what the affected areas are, what the devastation looks like, and what the people there need the most. And because of that, they're able to take all this user-generated information from people that are on the ground where it's happening, and they're able to create maps that make it easier to distribute the aid that's needed. Why truck helicopters full of water to an area that doesn't need it because they need food so badly? You don't make that mistake anymore. thanks to this on-the-ground personal reporting. It's astounding. And how do people help? How do you help even here at home? Well, look into it and find out, because they've also got people here at home that are working, volunteering, and they spend all day mining. They tweet mine. They go into Twitter, and they look specifically for tweets about affected areas, and that's where they're getting a lot of this data. So you don't have to be right in the middle of the devastation to be able to help. You can make sure disaster relief is handed out in a more efficient way to more people that need it, even like from where Lisa is on her couch. You could sit there and help. And I just learned about this. I don't have the specifics. I'd love to give you an address on where to go to volunteer your time. But if there's one thing I know about our audience and the people that are listening to this show, you guys know how to use Google. So get out there and locate a way to help, because I think being able to just sift through billions of tweets so that you can aggregate data and help people is an astounding thing to be able to do. And that and donating $20 per person that's out there wouldn't hurt either. What have you guys heard about this? Maybe not necessarily the social media aspect, but just the disaster in general. Has this touched anybody?
Oh, this is Pete, and I have a former colleague over at a school where I used to teach in Central Florida, who is her family is from the Philippines. They were fortunately not in the area where it occurred, but there are plenty of blackouts and things going on that are affecting, from last I heard, hundreds of thousands of people. And I think, Jason, speaking to the point on, how the aid is distributed and the timing of it and all, I think that's why it's so important to, a lot of these countries start drilling through these things and saying, hey, what if? And one thing about this particular storm, they're saying it's the biggest typhoon ever. So that should cause you to kind of say, well, then our operations need to sort of match the kinds of challenges that are coming. So once again, technology is giving us the size and scope of things. And if we, have our ear to it, we can sort of prepare better next time. So I think that's a pretty big point, as we're sort of watching what's going on here.
Thanks for that, Pete. I'd completely forgotten, but listening to your voice reminded me of the stories you told us about your involvement in what happened on the September 11th in 2001. And how the media changed, and I know we talked about that then.
Well, and the point there too is places like AT&T or Verizon. All these companies were scrambling to reconnect just the lines to the Wall Street outlets that were down in Lower Manhattan. If anybody knows the geography of Lower Manhattan, that's where Wall Street is, and then that's where the Twin Towers were. And so a lot of things had to be done. So you have these sort of cascading effects that happen where one problem exacerbates another. So preparation is huge in these times. Thinking through them. I mean, you're not hoping they happen, but you really, the preparation has to be there. So yeah, that was experienced down there as well.
Very well put. Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, let's leave and know that this is still going on as we move on to a much lighter story, something about YouTube. And it's a first for YouTube, which for a company that's been around for, well, we're sneaking up on a decade here, firsts aren't easy to come by. And we had Lisa Smith bring this to our attention and dig into it. What can you tell us about the awards from this year, Lisa?
What the topic you're bringing up is the YouTube Music Awards, which they have this year for the first time. By the way, Jason, I don't know if you're sharing your slides, but I'm not seeing anything on my side.
That's disappointing. I've had a very good view so far, and you guys haven't seen any of it?
At least not.
No, I didn't have it clicked. My mistake.
There you go.
That'll be interesting editing this when it's all over.
There we go. Okay. Well, as you mentioned, firsts aren't easy to come by, and judging by the press that this is getting, they're not easy to produce either. This was their first attempt at setting up an award show, and kind of in the same vein as the MTV Music Awards and that sort of thing, except they wanted to give it a YouTube slant, and hired Spike Jones to be the creative director on this, and his vision was for it to be basically to be produced in a way that resembled the very raw and kind of user-created feeling of the YouTube videos themselves, which having watched it, I can say that, yeah, it did have that sort of feeling, but it came across as being a little unplanned and unscripted. And in fact, most of the presenters were literally unscripted and left in the dark about a lot of what was going to happen there, which gave it a spontaneous feeling, but also has led to it being called, in some of its reviews, chaos with a soundtrack and a hot mess of a show. There was a lot of really awkward pauses and so forth in the presentations, and just sort of unintentionally comical moments as things kind of took place. Some of the music, the live performances were like really high concept productions, with the idea of making them look like YouTube videos, and they were really creative. I thought they had kind of a medley of the popular songs out there from the what was it? Someone I Used to Know video mixed with the very ludicrous Friday song and so forth.
Could you sing some of that for us, Lisa?
I sure won't ever.
Okay.
Now, what's interesting about the show is, I mean, we're all familiar with the YouTube and the content that it has. So when you think of YouTube presenting a music award, the kind of intuitive idea would be that this is going to feature some of the user-created and content, or some of the stuff, that the amateur content that's allowed to be uploaded. And to some extent it was, but when you look at some of the winners, you see names like the Artist of the Year went to Eminem, and some of the nominees in that category were Justin Bieber, Katy Perry, and Nicki Minaj, and so forth, who are pretty big names. And so they've taken a lot of heat for that, with some of the performers and nominees who were some of the lesser-known upstarts, kind of saying, well, why are we giving these people more of the spotlight when they're already getting it in the mainstream award shows? Now, I will say in defense of the show that the categories that they put up were Video of the Year, Artist of the Year, YouTube Phenomenon and Innovation of the Year, and Response of the Year. So 2 of these categories were YouTube Phenomenon, which is defined as songs that generated the most fan videos, and then our Response of the Year, which is actually a fan-made remix or cover. So they did have that kind of fan-created content in mind. Where the trouble comes in is that the winners are selected based on basically likes and upvotes and sharing statistics from Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. So when you have that kind of data being used to select your winners, then it's just logical to expect that some of these big name people are going to win, just because they've got the fan base.
Leave it to YouTube to come up with a complicated algorithm that they use to come up with a winner. That's just their style. Right,
yeah. And I think this is something that, Pete, talk about in your class is kind of like this mining data based on user preferences. And if you've got, for example, one of the nominees in Video of the Year was Epic Rap Battles of History, which are hilarious, but are they going to get the same kind of press or fan exposure that somebody like Eminem would get?
Yeah, it is. It's interesting the angle that they're taking as I'm listening to you share about this, Lisa, is what's the criteria, and it almost seems somewhat like what made the reality shows of like Idol and whatnot. There were people cheering someone on because they're saying, "Gosh, they're so talented. That's so great." But then, how many people were calling in and just by preference, the somebody was ousted or something? And so, yeah, it's an interesting angle as to where they're going with it.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see first if they do it again next year, and what they'll do with it next year because of some of the response that they've gotten. They only had 5 categories of awards, and they were the Video of the Year, Artist of the Year, Response of the Year, YouTube Phenomenon, and Innovation. And I think if they had additional categories that maybe work to the exclusion of the big name artists and were specifically geared toward upcoming people that have gotten their start on YouTube, that would really help to get some attention to some of these artists. Because there were people like Macklemore and Ryan and let's see if I can find it. Oh goodness, I'm forgetting her name. Lindsey Sterling, who does the violin music mixed with electronic, who I think really have made names for themselves because of YouTube. Like, they probably had the talent to make it on their own, but the exposure that they got through YouTube really pushed them up into the spotlight. So if they could create a category that was designed for people like that would help them get more attention, I think that would really be more in the spirit of what YouTube has become.
It almost sounds like they need to add about 15 more categories so that they can celebrate these giant people and also give the upstarts a chance to shine, or be recognized at least.
Yeah. Another interesting aspect of this is that you have people like Psy, hopefully I'm pronouncing this, PSY, Gangnam Style, who is from Korea, and the Video of the Year went to a group called Girls' Generation, which is a South Korean pop group. And it's interesting that we're starting to see this crossover with more of an international representation of artists, that I think that online distribution of music has really allowed more than it ever was in the past.
Yeah, that leveling of the playing field there, and it just encourages that much more the indie artist who now has a shot. It's almost like as you're seeing the television channels and whatnot merging with web channels like YouTube, and then you've got your cable channels. It's almost like things are starting to synthesize, like everything's getting sort of morphing together. And something like it, this totally highlights how something like an awards ceremony or an awards program can start to include, it's like a bigger tent. And so, yeah, that's just a great point, Lisa. This is maybe if they sort of maximize that going forward, and then again, hey, research is going to help them out here. So I'm sure they're going to be. There's going to be a lot of media strategists working on this one.
Absolutely, and what you just described is really sort of the shape of things to come, is the crossover between the online distribution and traditional media, because it's already happening. If you look at the new technology that's coming out with the new gaming consoles, PlayStation 4 and the Xbox, whatever the latest generation of Xboxes is called. You guys will know this. They're not just gaming consoles. They are primarily, but you can watch television through them. You can pull up YouTube channels through them. It's all coming together. It's merging into a single kind of huge entity of media consumption. And with you even see Netflix creating their own content now. So the network television is going to be changing, and this YouTube creating their own video awards or music awards is symptomatic of that trend.
Lisa, are you being attacked by reindeer?
No, but I am in the middle of a feline gang fight.
What? A what?
A gang war of cats.
Oh. You got West Side Story, the feline edition going on? Well, see, that's the kind of thing I would like to see on a YouTube award. If they're going to have awards, I don't mind focusing on music, but YouTube is huge. They cover so many different genres that I can't believe that they would focus simply on music unless they plan on having another award ceremony that covers these different categories. I would be incredibly interested to see a YouTube award show that covered not just cats, but everything else on the internet besides the music or in addition to.
I would agree with that, Jason. I would actually like to see, wouldn't it be fun to see like the YouTube Awards for best tutorials? Haven't you guys gone in and, how do I do such and such? And you go in and it's some, 13-year-old kid in his bedroom with the door closed, and he's like got his guitar and his towels and his clothes all behind him. And he's giving you some of the best information you've ever heard about how to use some kind of software.
Right.
So that would be awesome.
I want to jump in on that one, Kathy, and just say yes, because there was one of my students in school once that made a tutorial on how to clone things in After Effects, and he cloned himself all over the room and then cloned himself in different sizes with different, voice pitches and stuff, and it was hilarious, yet it was just so informative, and I can't tell you how much I agree with that. That is so true. It was a killer tutorial. It was awesome.
Yeah, I think that 13-year-olds would sweep it. I absolutely do.
That's because they know everything.
Well, YouTube actually did have video awards that they presented. This was in 2006 and 2007, and I guess they didn't continue it after that, but it was more open to different categories. It was they had the category of adorable, comedy, commentary, creative, inspirational musician of the year, and series, which actually Ask a Ninja won in 2006, which is very deserving, I would like to say. So I'm not sure why they didn't continue that, but it did not continue the broad set of categories that you're talking about, Kathy. So maybe that's something that someone needs to take on themselves. Looking at you, Kathy Craven.
Yeah, would you send an email to YouTube, Kathy?
Yes, I'm on it. I'm done. It's done and done.
Thank you. All right, everybody, get ready.
Faster
In the next
than
couple
Janelle
months, we
even.
should have an award show.
Yeah, we're faster than Janelle.
Well, that's perfect. Thank you very much for that, Lisa. We appreciate the look at what they've done with their music awards for this year. And while there might be some things that we can say negatively about the YouTube awards, that would have to be, for them, their shining moment for the last week, because in other YouTube news, they've made everybody mad. Just everybody. All of everybody. If you go on Reddit and you flip up and down the different comments and the different articles that are out there, you would be surprised at how many people feel that their life has been ruined, because apparently they spend all their time going to YouTube and commenting. And apparently, these people love to go and comment anonymously so that they can say all of the many insightful things that you used to be able to read on YouTube comments. I can't repeat any of them, but I think you know what I'm talking about. If not, Google YouTube comments and have fun, because some of them are incredibly dark and horrible. But what YouTube has done is they've changed all that by forcing anybody that wants to comment on a YouTube video to do so via their Google Plus account. Not just your Google account. You've got to comment via your Google Plus page. So that little bit of anonymity that you might have had is completely gone. And you could look at that in one of a couple ways. There are plenty of communities that have anonymous users that have very robust and meaningful conversations, like Reddit. They also have exactly what you would find in the YouTube comments. The kind of stuff you wouldn't want to mention to your grandmother. It's just, some of it's just not appropriate. But that's what happens when you're anonymous. People can go say whatever they feel like saying. When you take that away from people, you lose the freedom not only to say childish stuff, but also meaningful stuff that might not be what everybody else believes, but needs to be said for some reason. Luckily, we had this conversation in class over the last couple days, and I'm pretty sure that some people in the live class are just chomping at the bit to share their opinions on how they feel about all these Google Plus entanglements that we have, just to be able to go comment on Reddit. Oh my gosh, a fight just broke out. Apparently, they all want to talk at the same time. We might not get a single comment because of the fist fighting that's going on here. You guys stop. Shannon, hit him with the water gun. All right. Okay. Fine then. If you can't come to an agreement, none of you can share your opinions. Sorry you had to hear that, everybody. We're moving on. We're moving on to the I can't believe this is someone's job section. I love the I can't believe this is someone's job section. In this one, we get to badmouth Google again, so it's even better. Google, for the last year, has had this amazing ARG called Ingress. This game, well, as I mentioned, it's an ARG, which is an alternate reality game. That's a subset of transmedia storytelling. So it's a story that's told over many different media, and it requires the players to make the story progress, making it an ARG. Or as the pirates call it, an ARG. So what you have to do if you want to be a part of this is you have to go and download this app on your Droid. If you'd like to download it on your iPhone, too bad. You can't play. You don't get to play. Take your iPhone and go home. You don't get to play. I am so put out by this. I want to play this game really bad, but I don't have a silly Droid. And I don't want to go buy one. This ARG is making me feel very frustrated, and it's doing its job. Because while I really am angry with Droid and I don't want to go buy one, I want to play this game so bad I almost want to have a second phone in my pocket. Thanks to the app that you download and put on your Droid, you get to travel around, work with other people, meet in real life, solve puzzles and locate codes and all the things that you do in an ARG to push the story forward. And it's all very exciting because Google, who you might not know this, they've got a little bit of money and they're dumping it into this game. They've got great video content, great storyline. And for the last year, it's been in beta, but now it's being released in full-on user mode. It's out there for everybody, no longer in beta, but ready to be used by the world. So for those of you with the Droid, I encourage you to download it. For those of you without a Droid, like me, you may need to get a second phone. But ARGs are often used to promote something or sell it. So this is somebody's job. It's somebody's job to work for Droid and create this game that everybody can go and play. Lay this skin over reality that everybody can go imagine is reality so they can play the game. It makes it a lot of fun. But if you can't play, you feel left out. And in most cases, these ARGs are used to sell something, and in this case, it is the Droid phone. Long pause.
I like that thing that says Droid Max with the red light on it. What is that, by the way?
That's the Android eye looking at you saying, "You don't own me. You can't play this game."
Goodness.
What, am I bitter?
Cool-looking
I'm
thing.
bitter.
Yeah.
It is a good phone, and my first phone was a Droid, and I liked it okay. But to be honest with you, as soon as I got the iPhone, I wondered why I'd wasted my year and a half with the Droid. It's not the same for everybody, but this particular phone intersects with my life really well. That's just me, iPhone lover.
Me too.
I'm just still looking at the picture, wishing I could play. I'm sorry about the delay. All right. Next up, we're gonna have Kathy's Corner. Hey Pete, let's buy it together. We'll trade it. We'll take turns.
It. We'll split every 2 days. You can have it. I'll have it.
We'll have to work out some kind of an equation for the way the week doesn't divide up evenly. I'll take it for 3 days. Yeah. You take it for 2 days.
We can hire a mediator, and you guys. Yeah, if it gets ugly, we'll hire a mediator. You guys can do custody. You can have an official custody arrangement. Holidays and nights and weekends and.
I love it.
We haven't even purchased this thing yet, and I already want to fight you over it, Pete. Well, that does bring us to Kathy's Corner. There's the spinning Kathy
guys.
of Happy. And here she is live and direct from Building 3.
I like that, Jason. Spinning Kathy of Happy. You could take that all kinds of ways. But I'll take it as a compliment.
Totally.
So, hey, guys. It's great to be here. I'm sorry about my voice. I'm doing my best. I'm having some kind of allergic reaction to our lovely fall weather, I think, or something. We had a really windy day today, as campus students know, and it's blowing around something the last couple of days. So, but I'm glad to be here. And as I said earlier in the show, I am coming to you live from Building 3 on Full Sail campus. And the reason is because myself and some other of us that are definitely absent, you can tell are absent because it's been a lot more respectful today. Have you guys noticed that without the others here? Definitely more respectful. I'm just pointing it out. I'm just pointing out, observation. So anyway, but we are in a lynda.com series of courses and seminars the next couple of days, meaning that lynda.com folks themselves, these are the people that you go in to lynda.com and you watch the tutorial and, everybody knows it. You have your favorites. You have so-and-so that you love to watch. Let's admit it. Sometimes we get a crush on them. But those folks are actually here teaching your instructors on how to better use lynda.com. So it's really exciting. I'm only in the first one today and already learning about how to just really streamline the process for you guys so that we're creating playlists that are relevant for you. We're directing you to places that really work for you, really working on how to teach more effectively and efficiently using lynda.com. So lots of great things happening because you may not know this, but Full Sail is lynda.com's biggest client. So they are very, very interested in making sure we are happy, which means that they are also very, very receptive to our thoughts and ideas and suggestions. So they're really doing a lot to customize this for you guys, ultimately for the students. So that I wanted to share that with you because that's really exciting what's going on right now as we speak. And you're probably hearing other background noise because I am in the bustling Building 3. People are walking by with camera equipment and all kinds of things. But that's the lynda.com. So even though it seems like it's only benefiting our instructors right now, it's all about you guys in the end. We're going to make that an even better process for you. So,
speaking of the students, before we move on, is there any way I could get a lynda.com hoodie or coffee mug?
I will do what I can for you, Jason. I will beg, borrow, and steal and see what I can, finagle for you, not to worry.
Well, I appreciate that. My heart
if there is anything,
with the students.
It will be yours. I know it is. I know you just want to share swag with the students. So, all right, moving on from there. Oh, and you know what? I want to say one more thing before I move on from lynda.com. I heard a really wonderful tip recently, because you students may or may not know, but when you graduate from Full Sail, from what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, somebody, your lynda.com subscription ends. Here's a tip. Here's a little side note, back alley tip for all of you. What you can do is you can audit classes for the rest of your life from Full Sail, and I believe specifically from Media Communications. So as long as you're auditing a class, you get lynda.com. Just saying. Keep that in mind.
Wow.
So, just a little tip I heard on the streets of Full Sail. So, all right, so let's move on. Sorry, Jason, take you back there. Okay, one more quick thing. I want to let you know that this is going on for both campus and online students. The production company Bunham Murray, Bunham Murray specializes in reality TV. How many people watch reality TV? Are you going to admit it if I ask you that?
We're all making throw-up gestures with our fingers.
Okay, well, okay, I know. I come from a documentary film background, and please know that that's not the same as reality TV. But reality TV is very, whether we like it or not, a very lucrative industry. And so Bunham Murray specializes in the following, these shows. I just put a list of the shows that they actually produce: Project Runway and the Kardashians. That's pretty exciting. But the point is, they are here. They're coming on campus to give a talk on basically the industry and how to be a part of it. And they're actually bringing recruiters and human resources types to look at, have an in-depth look into the industry of reality TV. So here's your chance to either go gather a bunch of information, maybe get a job or a job lead, or go and tell them about, ideas about how to make reality TV to suit your needs a little bit better. So anyway, but it's going to be a great opportunity. I think on the screen there, yeah, Jason has it on the screen there. For how to get in touch with it, or how to be a part of it if you're on campus, how to be a part of it if you are an online student. So in either case, you are able to connect with that. And I want to give you also a list of the potential careers that they say you would, who they're hiring for. This is who they're hiring. So I know the list looks a little weird in the go-to training format here, but you can see there are definitely you guys. Some of these guys are you guys. So also, one of the most interesting ones was, it's not showing up there, but I really thought this was interesting because I know we have some bilingual folks. They're looking for bilingual writers, producers, assistants, anybody who's bilingual and has some media communications background or production background. They're so interested in you. So anyway, just letting you know that's one of the very many career placement type opportunities that are on campus and also for online students that happen every week around here. But this one was sent to us specifically from our career placement folks today. Said, Kathy, could you please tell your students about this, because this is a really cool opportunity. So whether or not you watch the Kardashians, it's an interesting opportunity. So check that out if you can. And also, if nothing else, take it as validation that you are in the right place for the career of your choice. All right, that's it for today for Kathy's Corner, and thanks a lot, Jason.
Thank you, Kathy. I should add that while there were gagging gestures being made about the shows themselves, everybody's eyes lit up when they saw the list of potential jobs. I unfortunately can't see it because of the way my screen is set up. And for the archive's sake, could you read off some of the more impressive lists or jobs that are on there?
Absolutely. The jobs? Okay, I'll read the ones that that are going to be maybe even more specific to you guys. But they have internships for one. Video editors, you're going to be adept enough to probably do some of that. Digital media predators, that will definitely fit you guys. Production managers, you're going to be project managers, and you're going to understand a lot about all kinds of media. Line producer, that's somebody who kind of works show by show,
Mm-hmm.
sort of hired, sort of adjunct to be producer. And producer is somebody that just does all the logistics. Think project management, if you've had that class. Project management person who knows about media. That's you guys. Production coordinator, again, something you guys could do. A couple other kinds of producers. Then these bilingual positions, writers, producers, assistants, things like that. Assistant editor. I'm thinking a lot in terms of, entry-level jobs. And I want you guys to remember that too, that, as much as we all want to get out there and make the next million in social media, you're going to start somewhere. I know you've heard this probably more than you want to hear, but you are going to start somewhere. And, I started by editing construction videos. So, this could be a little more exciting than that. So
Maybe.
Anyway, you're going to start somewhere, and a lot of these positions are these great entry-level type jobs. So really exciting for you guys. And yes, Miguel's asking, yes, EB Auditorium, I believe, is that what it said? Yes. Do you know where that is, Miguel? Is he nodding his head?
Yeah, we're good. We're going to walk over as a class. Luckily, that's during our class time on Monday, so this is
cool.
going to be part of our Monday.
Well, on Monday, the 18th at 6:30 p.m., that's part of your class? Oh, yeah, that's right, during lab.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, there you go. So you'll be fine. Luke is very excited about the field trip. That's great. All right, well, you guys enjoy. I'm heading back into lynda.com right now. Great to be with you guys. Thanks, Jason.
Thanks, Kathy. Say hi to Linda for me.
I sure will.
Okay. And for those of you that are going to be logging on to the go-to session so you can hear about the company that Kathy was talking about, you can follow this short link. You'll just type it into your browser, and the goo.gl / are not case sensitive, but the rest of it is. That's a 3, a capital Z, like zebra, a lowercase t, a lowercase o, an uppercase F, and an uppercase W, and that'll take you to the registration you need to be able to attend that session virtually on the GoTo training session. And with that, we leap right into tool time with Pete. Pete, all the way over in Australia, take it away.
Well, g'day. I'm still trying there. G'day. That's better. G'day.
You're killing it.
There it is. Yeah. It's still too early for a Foster's, but we can talk about tools for sure. So yes, welcome to Tool Time, everybody. Yeah, we got what is that there, Juliana? You're doing well, mate. Okay, yeah, no worries. There you go. Put another shrimp on the barbie. So yeah. So at the Tool Time Institute, look, we're constantly searching for the best tools that make your academic and professional life, well, let's just say your whole life better. We want to make your whole life better. So yeah, Lisa's saying stop encouraging him. And today, I wanted to let you know about a free website. We're going to hold this screen for a second because I want you to really take a look at what this is. And that kind of graphic really gets your interest piqued a little bit. But I'd like you to know about a free website that can actually address the issues that we face and will be facing when it comes to the professional and personal life on the web. And this is kind of a different approach in. We're always kind of warned of things and all that. But this is one that really addresses something that actually came from a very cool place. There was this website, .complicated, as you can see, is by Randy Zuckerberg. And so the name automatically is jumping off the page at you, and I'll get to that in a second. But it's a very cool place on the web that's been created by Randy Zuckerberg. And, well, I might as well go ahead and say it. She's the sister of the Facebook co-founder and CEO, Mark Zuckerberg. And so now we can I want you to notice, you see that life, fam, you, job, hot, and stuff on there. We can now push ahead to the next slide. And I really came across this website on this particular show, which is called Digits, which is a Wall Street Journal TV segment that you can access via Apple TV or on the web. And Deborah Kahn does a great job at it. She actually broadcasts from Hong Kong, and her crew that usually works with her do some great segments. And for the latest in tech news and information, Besides Tool Time, yeah, you can also go there. And this is, I'm giving you some of my little secrets, but I access it from my regular Apple TV content that's free that comes with Apple TV. But you can access it on the web. And so today's content really hits the spot when it comes to managing technology in your life while you're here as a student in MCBS and beyond graduation in the professional world. So now we can sort of move ahead to the next slide. And I want to, I told you I would kind of bring in Randy Zuckerberg to you. Randy Zuckerberg, yes, is the former director of market development and a spokesman for Facebook. And now she's the CEO of Zuckerberg Media and an editor-in-chief at Complicated, which is what we're going to look at, as I said. Now, I like to study what successful individuals have to say about a number of topics, and as Randy was being interviewed about her professional and personal life and technology, you know, my ears sort of perked up. I'm thinking, okay, so if there's someone that really gets slammed with email, slammed with tweets and every kind of thing possible, Facebook posts and all this, it's her. And now she's going to talk about how she manages that. And that really kind of caught my attention. So she encounters something I think all of us have to deal with at one point or another. And so, you know, let's take a look at the more salient points of this interview that I'm talking about, and then the tool that's kind of connected to it. So we'll push ahead to the next slide. And Randy was starting to share that, you know, gone are the days when you shut off your computer at the end of the day and you go home, right? You know, or work at a job, and then all of a sudden you're just sort of, you know, I'm done. All of my connection to emails and whatnot are over, and that day's over, right? It's gone. And she was kind of, you know, sharing that, and then she was sharing that, you know, it used to be that you were someone at work, and then you were someone different when you went home to your family. And you know, I thought about that, and I said, you know, that's fairly true, at least from, maybe not from the younger generation that's here, but definitely from my generation. So as we push ahead to the next thing, you know, I was sort of mulling through that. And then she also shared that now, in comparison to what used to be, our colleagues are our friends as well. And you know, I certainly have this at Full Sail. I love the people I work with. I love hanging out with them. I just enjoy working with them. You know, there's just, it goes beyond just going to work every day. And many of you have that experience too. And so our families on the other side of that also see our business, right? Because they, you know, we're on Facebook and we're on these different you know, Twitter accounts and things, and so there's sort of a blending and almost, I'm going to say blurring of the lines a little bit, but not in such a negative way. I mean, well, let's go to the next slide, because this I think this explains what I'm trying to say here. And Randy Zuckerberg was saying, you know, there's pros and cons, right? There's ups and downsides. And technology frees us up to work and do personal business seamlessly, right? Like Lisa can be working on what she's working on at her couch and getting things done for work while her cats start having sort of a throwdown or start attacking her or whatever. And I could be in here working on, you know, a class or something, and then suddenly the dog wants to be taken out, right? And so things like that happen, and yet technology frees us up to work and to do personal business fairly seamlessly, right? I can still be reading my email on my cell phone while I'm taking Rocket out to take care of what he has to take care of. So yeah, there's that upside of it. And then the level of communication is becoming too much, though, to keep up with once we're home. So in other words, everybody can tweet at us, everybody can email at us, and all of this stuff is sort of going on. And we don't have this sort of thing that happens where we just shut the computer off and go home. And so having her say that was sort of encouraging to me. I felt like saying, oh, great. I'm not the only one that kind of feels that way from time to time. You know, you feel that pressure to answer that email or that text. And if I don't answer that email or that text at that moment, are they going to think I'm kind of dissing them, or I'm like, you know, not paying attention to them, maybe I'm mad at them. And we start reading into things. Oh gosh, they didn't answer my email right away. Was that thing that I did yesterday, did they get ticked off at that? And we start like creating the paralysis of analysis of these things. And so it's crazy, isn't it, what technology does? So we'll push ahead to the next slide and sort of bring this to a conclusion.
Not after what you said yesterday.
Oh, I'll let you have it 3 days a week, the phone, and then I'll just take it too. How's that?
Fine, here's your slide.
See, we're easy. And so where the chips fall, see, I told you guys, I love working with these guys. This is so much fun. It's okay if your colleagues know you like to listen to Radiohead, or you like to go hiking on the weekends, or that you have a 3-year-old son that you love. It's okay that you share these things on Facebook and your professional colleagues see this. That's cool. That's okay. And it's okay that your family knows what goes on in your work life. That's kind of cool, that there's sort of a connection. And I think it adds more of the human element to the places we work and so on and so forth. Well, the takeaway for this is that to use technology and the web more consciously so that you don't take up too much space in your life, so that they don't take up too much space in your life. And you got to ask yourself the question, look, how much is a choice? How much should they take up? How much should technology and my apps and my devices, sort of infiltrate into my personal life? I know it's tough sometimes to go to the beach maybe and take a walk without your cell phone, because you do want to have it just in case you need it. But you got to kind of think of how much you're going to allow yourself to read those emails when you should be just spending some time with the kids. Find the discussions if you need to noodle it. That's what I say. And so that's why .complicated.co is here. So I want to just show you just the interface of the first page that's just on our next slide, and then we'll kind of wrap it up. So this is .complicated.co, and Randy Zuckerberg put this together, and as you can see in the lower right corner now, she has an actual book that's been released called .complicated that talks all about this stuff, and a kind of storybook about .complicated. And but on this site, you can go in there and they have everything you could possibly want to talk about, check out, listen to other people's advice on things, or maybe their take on it, on life, family, your job, all kinds of things in the news and everything, all in one spot. And I think this is a very, very needed site, and I'm so glad she started it, and it's free, and it's our featured Tool Time Tool of the Week. So those of you guys that are in school and you're kind of thinking about these things, those of you that are heading into the profession real soon and wondering how you're going to juggle all this, hey, who better than to hear it from Randy Zuckerberg? So that's it from Tool Time. We shared with you actually 2 tools. We shared with you Digits on the Wall Street Journal site, and also .complicated. And so our last slide, we have to put this in here because it's always there at the end. Manage your technology and be happy. And that's it. So thanks, and have a great day from Tool Time.
Thank you, Pete. We really appreciate that. Randy Zuckerberg, huh? That's a pretty big deal. I mean, that's a name that you recognize.
Oh, and you know what? I didn't have any idea she was doing something like this. So it was kind of one of those little happy accidents recently. So yeah, there you go.
That's cool. I really, really loved her brother in the movie Zombieland. I thought he did a great job.
Oh, Jason, you are the best. Hope you guys in that classroom appreciate him.
Yeah, I hope they do too. Well, that brings us to the end of another exciting MCBS Hour. It was a kinder, more gentler MCBS Hour with some of our missing faculty, but as they become wiser in the ways of Linda, I'm sure they'll be able to bring some of that knowledge back and somehow incorporate it into future shows. For now, I look forward to seeing you guys next Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Feel free to reach out to us by tweet if you've got anything you'd like to tell us about, or if you want to share an article you found that you think we'd find interesting. We are at MCBS FS. That's Media Communication Bachelor of Science Full Sail, MCBS FS. We'd love to hear from you by Twitter. See you next week.
Boom.